This video is in response to Sam Altman's recent statement on Tucker Carlson's show, echoing the official claim that Sukir Balaji's passing was a self-unaliving. So let's take a look at this clip of Altman.
But I think his memory and his family deserve to be treated with a level of respect and grief that I don't quite feel here.
His gaslighting and pathological tactics, straight out of a neurotic soccer mom's playbook.
I'm asking at the behest of his family, so I'm definitely showing them respect, and I'm not accusing you of any involvement in this at all.
If he were telling the truth, he wouldn't have told us.
Unless, of course, he knew you wouldn't believe the truth, even if he told us.
So you've had complaints from one programmer who said you guys are basically stealing people's stuff and not paying them, and then he wound up murdered. What was that?
Also a great tragedy. He committed suicide.
Do you think he committed suicide?
I really do.
Have you looked?
This was like a friend of mine.
Bro, if he's your friend, wouldn't you want to figure out why he was unalived under suspicious circumstances? Why are you so quick to just rule it off as a self-unaliving, Altman?
This is like a guy that, not a close friend, but this is someone that worked at OpenAI for a very long time. I was really shaken by this tragedy. I spent a lot of time trying to, read everything I could, as I'm sure you and others did too, about what happened. It looks like a suicide to me.
Why does it look like a suicide?
It was a gun he had purchased. It was this is like gruesome to talk about, but I read the whole medical record. Does it not look like one to you?
Oh, the gaslighting.
No, he was definitely murdered, I think. There were signs of a struggle, of course. The surveillance camera, the wires had been cut. He had just ordered takeout food, come back from a vacation with his friends on Catalina Island. No indication at all that he was suicidal, no note, and no behavior. He had just spoken to a family member on the phone, and then he's found dead with blood in multiple rooms. So that's impossible. Seems really obvious he was murdered. Have you talked to the authorities about it?
I've not talked to the authorities about it.
And his mother claims he was murdered on your orders.
Do you believe that?
I'm asking.
You just said it, so do you believe that?
I think that it is worth looking into. If a guy comes out and accuses your company of committing crimes, I have no idea if that's true or not, and then is found killed and there are signs of a struggle, I don't think it's worth dismissing it. I don't think we should say, well, he killed himself when there's no evidence that the guy was depressed at all. I think, and if he was your friend, I would think you would want to.
I did offer. She didn't want to.
So do you feel that, when people look at that and they're like, it's possible that happened, do you feel that reflects the worries they have about what's happening here? Like people are afraid that this is like...
I haven't done too many interviews where I've been accused of like...
Oh, I'm not accusing you at all. I'm just saying his mother says that. I don't think a fair read of the evidence suggests at all. And I also don't understand why the authorities, when there's signs of a struggle and blood in 2 rooms on a suicide, like how does that actually happen? I don't understand how the authorities could just dismiss that as a suicide. I think it's weird.
You understand how this sounds like an accusation?
Of course. Let me just be clear once again, not accusing you of any wrongdoing, but I think it's worth finding out what happened. And I don't understand why the city of San Francisco has refused to investigate it beyond just calling it a suicide.
I think they looked into it a couple of times, more than once as I understand it. I saw and I will totally say, when I first heard about this, it sounded very suspicious to me.
Yes.
And I know you had been involved in...
His mother
you were asked
reached
to look
out
into the case.
And I don't know anything about it. It's not my world.
She just reached out cold?
She reached out cold.
Wow.
And I spoke to her at great length, and it scared the crap out of me. Kid was clearly by somebody. That was my conclusion, objectively, with no skin in the game.
And you, after reading the latest report?
Yes.
Look.
I immediately called a member of Congress from California, Ro Khanna, and said, this is crazy. You got to look into this. And nothing ever happened. And I'm like, what is that?
Again, I think this is, I feel strange and sad debating this and having to
I'm not
myself
even
seems totally crazy. And you are a little bit accusing me, but...
No, that's called common sense and a conscience. He didn't accuse you. You just feel guilty because it looks sus. And all the fingers are pointed at you, man. You using that kosher little voice and trying to maintain your emotions ain't helping none.
This was like a wonderful person and a family that is clearly struggling.
Yes.
And I think you can totally take the point that you're just trying to get to the truth of what happened. And I respect that. But I think his memory and his family deserve to be treated with a level of respect and grief that I don't quite feel here.
And that right there, class, is what we call virtue signaling. All right, now, let's keep moving on.
I'm asking at the behest of his family. So I'm definitely showing them respect, and I'm not accusing you of any involvement in this at all. What I am saying is that the evidence does not suggest suicide, and for the authorities in your city to elide past that and ignore the evidence that any reasonable person would say adds up to a murder, I think is very weird, and it shakes the faith that one has in our system's ability to respond to the facts.
Did you hear that? Altman responded to the accusation with a calm, kosher, mommy voice, acting surprised and offended. But the moment he said, after the second autopsy, he believed it to be a self-unaliving, my ears perked up and my spidey senses kicked in. His gaslighting and pathological tactics, straight out of a neurotic soccer mom's playbook, were so annoying. It's like he mastered the art of sounding professional while dodging the truth. And now, even the Gen Z children are following suit. Altman's response in this interview is super sus and only makes me more suspicious of his intentions. I listened to Tucker's interview with Sukur's mother from 7 months ago, and it's clear it was not a self-unaliving. Despite Altman's confident claims and attempts to gaslight Tucker, the evidence tells a different story. Sukir had just returned from a vacation with his friends. He ordered takeout shortly before being unalived. CCTV wires were cut. A clump of wig fibers were found that wasn't his. The human hair in the wig clump didn't belong to Sukir. Blood spatter was found in 2 separate rooms, and the second autopsy revealed the bullet entered from above his head, an angle that makes self-unaliving physically impossible. Yet despite all this, the case was closed, officially ruled a self-unaliving. Does that sound right to you? It reminds me of Phil Schneider, the whistleblower on aliens and deep underground military bases, who was conveniently found unalived, tortured, hands tied behind his back, and guess what the official report said? Yes, a self-unaliving. Something smells fishy here, don't you think? Sukir wasn't just a young researcher. He was a prodigy, a whistleblower. He exposed OpenAI's questionable data practices now at the center of billion-dollar lawsuits. Weeks later, he was gone. Sukir was a custodial witness, the only one willing to stand up for justice while the other employees quietly slipped away. He was ready to testify, just like the Boeing whistleblower, who also ended up after speaking out. I don't know about y'all, but I've seen enough mafia movies to know how this story goes. This is bigger than one man's death. It's about truth versus power, transparency versus corruption. If a whistleblower can be silenced and written off without answers, what does that mean for the rest of us? Charlie is just the most recent voice of truth squelched by the Prince of the Air, but I refuse to be silent. That's why I'm asking you guys to share this video, put more eyes on this story, demand the release of all evidence, demand the truth. And finally, I want to thank Tucker Carlson for his incredible public service and for giving Sukir's mother a platform to share her story. Sukir's voice may have been silenced, but ours hasn't. So if you're tired of staying in your own lane, while the rest of the world of enabled and delusional NPCs hijack the entire highway, please make sure to like, follow, and share so we can fight this injustice together. But until next time, the Faceless Prophet out.
If he were telling the truth, he wouldn't have told us.
Unless, of course, he knew you wouldn't believe the truth, even if he told us it.